questions in which he differed in his opinion from Ayatollah al-Khoyi. This is what is called ijtihad, in which you may have your own opinion because of your knowledge, not because of your stubbornness, not because of ignorance, but because of the knowledge. And that man said, Agha, would you put your seal and signature under these answers that you have given? And I remember Ayatollah Sadr said, I will put my signature to testify that these are my answers. But I will not put a seal as long as Ayatollah Khoyi lives. Because he is the elderly person there, I will not put my seal out of respect because I am his student. Although we differ, but we don't differ to quarrel or fight, we differ with respect and reverence. That is a type of conduct which this man had, and with his martyrdom, we have lost a man, not only of knowledge, but of an exemplary akhlaq and conduct. And our ulama have written, in Anwarul Nu'maniyah, Ni'matullah Jazairi writes, that someone came to Imam Ali alayhi salam, salawatullah salam alayhi, and said, Ya Ali, can you describe the akhlaq, the behavior, and the life of the Prophet in your own words, so that we may know more as to what you have to say about the Prophet? And Imam alayhi salam answered to say, there is no need to add to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already said in Quran about the Prophet. When he said, إِنَّكَ لَعَلَىٰ خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ, O Muhammad, you have reached a pinnacle of human behavior and human conduct. When you are Azim, when Allah himself is Azim, and he describes the akhlaq of Muhammad as Azim, then there is nothing else you can add to it. Well, so the Prophet is known for his khulq. And it is for that reason that when the month of Ramadan always came, but when fasting was made compulsory and obligatory, in that year when the month of Ramadan came, the Prophet sat on mimbar to declare, O people, the great month is advancing and coming upon to you. In this month, your sleep will be also ibadah, and your silence will also be tasbih. Nawmukum fihi ibadah. If you sleep, it will be ibadah. And if you keep silent, that will also be tasbih. Your breathing will also be tasbih in this month. Now, it doesn't become automatically a tasbih. There has got to be a change. There are people who, at the prospect of Ramadan, they start shivering. The month is coming, we will have to starve. People are actually unhappy when they hear that the month of Ramadan is drawing near. The month of what they call starvation. The month of keeping hungry. The month of being deprived of good sleep. The month of being deprived of many things. Many things. But our position is like one villager in Kathiawar, when a mullah sahab said, Ramjan aave chhe. This man asked for the first time, said, so what? He said, well, when Ramjan comes, there will be no food. You will have to fast from morning till evening. Oh? He didn't say anything. In those days, those small villages had gates and walls around. He went and sat near the gate, waiting for Ramjan Bhai to come. And it so happened that the first man who came early in the morning, he asked him, what is your name? He said, my name is Alarakya. He said, go. I've got nothing to do with Alarakyas. There are many. Go. And the second man came and said, your name? He said, my name is Kanji Bhai. He said, you go. And the third man came and he said, what is your name? He said, my name is Ramjan. He said, I'm waiting for you. And he gave him a good treat. Some abuses and some slap. And Ramjan Bhai left the village. Perhaps he swore for his lifetime not to come. This man came to Mulla Sahib and said, Mulla Sahib, tell the people not to worry, Ramjan will not come. I have driven him away. I myself have driven him away. I gave him a slap. This is the type of Ramjan we are expecting, which will come. It will change our timetable. It will change our timetable. It will render us sleepless. It will make us uncomfortable. And then we will be waiting for Eid to come, even if it is one day earlier. To prove the moon at all costs, even if it comes early in the morning and late at night. This is the type of prospect as far as Ramadan is concerned in our view. And while it has got to be different. Remember, when we were young, all of us, we looked at life differently. As we grow, our parents observe that the child is growing and becoming mature. The sign of maturity comes with a change of outlook towards life. A boy or a girl at the age of 2 quarrels for many things. At the age of 6 does not quarrel for those things for which he quarreled when he was 2. And you can see the maturity at 6, and then further maturity at 12, and at 18 he is a mature young man. His outlook towards life has changed. Those things which interested him then does not interest him. They don't interest him now. And if they do, then according to Islamic ideology, he may have become baligh, but does not have rushd, or does not have maturity. So, rushd comes together with bulugh, and we get mature. And there are many elders sitting here who will vouch that now when they look back to their life, early life, they sometimes treat their own attitude critically and say, we did those things because we were young and inexperienced. We now realize that what we did and what we thought was wrong. My question is, when should the maturity and when should the judgment and outlook to life stop? Is it a growing process, or is it a process which stops with age? If it stops with age, then that is senility. But if it continues growing till I go to the grave, even at the age of 100, then it means that I am living a life and I am not vegetating. The month of Ramadan comes to break the shells, provided we treat the month of Ramadan that way. How? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Jabir ibn Abdullah, "Oh Jabir, the month of Ramadan is coming. In this month, don't allow your eyes to see that which is haram." This includes television. Huh? All those programs on television which are distracting are haram to see. Ayatollah Al-Khuy has said television itself can be used for various purposes. Therefore, I don't say that television viewing is haram. I say what you view is to be judged. If you are viewing news, then there's something else. But if you are viewing things where things which are haram are being shown and which are increasingly being shown, then that particular process of viewing is haram. Whether it is night of Ramadan or day of Ramadan. And I am talking of Ramadan, although haram it is forever. Not only Ramadan, but Ramadan all the more. O Jabir, don't allow your eyes to view, to see that which is haram, to look at na-mahram. And don't allow your ears to listen to the voices which are haram. And don't allow your hands to do things which are haram. And don't allow your feet to advance towards things which are haram. Like even dhulm, or going towards a meeting where to sit is haram. So Jabir said, what will happen then? The Prophet said then, your fast will change your life. Your fast will change your life. So Jabir said, What a beautiful hadith this is. The Prophet said, what difficult conditions there are. The conditions have got to be fulfilled. That is why in Nahjul Balagha, Mawla says, how many people do not derive any benefit from fast except keeping hungry and thirsty. The only thing they derive from it is that they have kept hungry and they have kept thirsty for at least some few hours. And there is no further benefit. We have got to see that our akhlaq changes in the month of Ramadan. And that change is very, very important. If it does not, then we have just passed through the whole month doing nothing. I am not talking of those who do not have even the courtesy of respect for a month of Ramadan. Those who openly eat and openly drink even if they have got no excuse for it. The Prophet said, even if you have an excuse, even if you are ill and you cannot fast, you may eat as little as you should so that the respect of Ramadan is not broken. And never do so openly. Never show that. And yet, if we don't have respect for the month of Ramadan and we do not treat it as a holy month, that portrays that we haven't understood the philosophy at all. For 1 month, it is a drill where we are told to obey, and that is qurbatan ilallahi ta'ala, for His obedience. Otherwise, to food and to water, if you partake of it, nothing is from Allah's store of ni'mah, nothing is reduced. And Allah in Quran says, if the whole world were to transgress, if the whole world were to disobey, nothing is reduced. And if the whole world were to obey, nothing increases. Because whatever you do is for your own good, if you understand. So let us understand and tell our children to fast and ourselves to fast. And let us see that in this month, our namaz-e-subuh does not become qada. What is the meaning of fasting with no namaz? Huh? The whole night Shab Qadr Amal we did up to 2 o'clock. We kept even Quran on our head, the whole Quran. And we gave the wasta of all Masumin alayhimus salam. And at 2 o'clock we went home and we had our daku, sahari. And then we slept and rose up at 10 o'clock in the morning. What is the meaning of those amal which were mustahab anyway at the expense of namaz-e-subuh, which is fard and wajib? And what is the meaning of that fast where I sit down to make ghibah wherever I sit? Because I am hungry, I try to bite people, accuse, lose temper, quarrel with the wife and the children and the friends only because to prove that I have fasted. If we don't change in the month of Ramadan, then there isn't any other season to change. When we will finish the month of Ramadan, then you will see that there is a dua of wida' where Imam Zainul Abidin salawatullah wa salamu alayh enumerates the beauties of the month of Ramadan. Although this dua is read at the end of Ramadan, but it is recommended that we read that dua for pondering in the beginning of Ramadan. Because this guest has been coming every day, every year. He is not a stranger. The month of Ramadan is not a stranger. Let us see what are the beauties and qualities of this month as it comes, although it is mentioned in the dua of farewell. But for this month, Imam alayhi salam said, O Ramadan, month of Allah, you have been so good that because of your company, my sins were reduced. And my good deeds increased. Because of your company with me, I read Quran and pondered over the verses. Because of your company with me, so much of barakah came down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So much of baliyat and bala went away. You were a good guest. Oh, great Eid of the friends of Allah. We are waiting for that Eid, which is down the corner. He tells Ramadan that you are Eid. You were the Eid. The days of celebrations and the day of rejoicing are passing, and what we are left with now is just that Eid for which we prepare. Now, because of this, I say, and I repeat this, that we are not just for earning money and just for becoming rich and just for a society where we live, we have relationships and pass away. The time is come when every human being understands that Allah has given us some potential qualities. There are qualities we develop. Down below, there is a fitness club where everyone will go with all the inclinations to do what? To develop the muscles and biceps. There is a swimming program. Everybody will go. For what? For health. Physical health. There are sports program. All of us wish to go. Why? Because that gives us physical fitness. What are we going to do for that spiritual fitness which is offered in the month of Ramadan? Not only by fasting, but by changing the attitude. That means not only by not eating or drinking, but by refusing to do things. I call it self-denial. To deny something to yourself. You have denied food. You have denied water. You have denied so many things which make roza batil. In other days they are all halal. In this particular time it becomes haram because Allah has forbidden. True? True. Apart from that, there are so many things where there must be self-denial. Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullah salam alayhi says that when you sit for iftar, now there is no stop. There is a quarrel over the time of adhan. If anyone misses 1 minute, oh my God. Never are mu'mineen so careful about namaz maghrib as they are in the month of Ramadan. It must start over exactly BBC time. See, everyone asks the other fellow, let us compare our minutes and seconds. Fine. And Allahu Akbar is given. And then namaz, mullah is told to quicken as fast as he can, otherwise it has a problem. Well, namaz is over. Now we have sat. Ali alayhi salam says that as you sit to eat, now it is halal for you. Do not fill your stomach with even that which is halal. After breaking the fast, and in Jami al-Sa'adat, Fadl Niraqi, centuries ago, writes something. When I was reading it, I smiled. He says, he writes about 300 years ago, He says, in these days, people eat too much in the month of Ramadan. And they cook so many types of varieties that they try to compensate whatever they have been deprived during the noon hours to eat together during the night hours. Well, I smiled because there is no difference between the time he lived in and the time today. It is the same thing, even today. Look at the things if you want to test, go to the market, fruit market or any market, in the evening when you are hungry. And when the time of iftar is about 2 hours away, you would like to buy everything. Everything. Anything that is good. Hunger tells you take it. When you have reached home, you can hardly eat even a part of it. But it is all there. Now you must eat this and you must eat that and you must eat that. Mawla says that by eating so much that this becomes full. Imam says there is no container in the world which is as bad as this container when filled up. It doesn't allow you even for namaz. It will not allow you even for dua. Even it won't allow you to sit for munajat. It will not allow you to concentrate. It will straight away tell you to go and sleep and take rest because you have fasted. He says, remain hungry even after having eaten, and keep certain amount of hunger your constant friend in the month of Ramadan. This is what Ali ibn Abi Talib says, so that you may sleep, but you may also rise again, days and night, for achieving that spiritual awakening, which comes only with self-denial. We have to deny, we have to prevent certain interesting measures of the physic to allow the spirit to blossom. This is something very important. Now, try for first 10 days. What change you will see in yourself will be remarkable. Your thinking, your vision of the prospect, your spiritual qualities will rise in you. I am not talking of any wishful thinking. Those spiritual qualities of which normal persons have got no experience will come. Ulama have said, and this is by experience, that your dreams become true dreams, not those dreams which are eaten, which come after dungris. Eat too much of pyaz or pilav and biryani at night and dar, mashallah alayhi salam, and then you go home and you dream things. Those dreams come from dar. Those are shaitani dreams. But the moment your spirit is awakened, the dreams which you see are Rahmani dreams and not shaitani. In awakening, you become a different man. And if you want to know what will be the change, then take that khutbah of Nahjul Balagha, where Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullah salam alayh talks to a man who is called Himam. He comes to Mawla and says, Mawla, sifli al-muttaqeen, describe to me those who are with people of taqwa. And Imam al-Islam says, he recited an ayah. He said, this is the ayah of Quran. Allah says, adopt taqwa, refrain from haram, and be among those who are truthful. He said, Mawla, this is no doubt an ayah of Quran. I would like to hear from your mouth the description. So Mawla said, if you want the description, so listen. And this is a complete discourse in Nahjul Balagha, where Imam al-Islam talks to him and tells him what are the signs and what are the changes in a man, and how spiritually he is awakened to become a new person, man and woman. And remember one thing, many people believe that by becoming spiritually awakened, we become useless. Many people think this way, that if we become spiritually awakened, we'll go to Himalaya and go around at the foot of the mountain and start bhajan. Or we will relinquish and renounce our worldly life. This is what people believe. That Mullah Sahib is talking in terms of becoming sadhus and hermits. I am talking of life in a mainstream of society, and yet you are different. And Ali ibn Abi Talib Islam describes that this man during daytime among people walks, where people look at him and wonder at the way he talks, the way he behaves, the way he explains, the way the light of divine existence comes from his face. Where is it? Quran. If we don't read Quran even in the month of Ramadan, then I say, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And 90% of the Muslim world does not read Quran even in the month of Ramadan. You see many Muslims reading Quran everywhere, but it is 10%. And those who do not know how to read in Arabic, what prevents them to go and ponder over the meaning of Quran at least? If they didn't have the tawfiq of reading, at least the meaning, because everything has a season, and Ramadan is the season of Quran. So we have got to change. But we do not. And because we do not change, the month of Ramadan passes the discussion only. Mullah Sahib, the timetable is changed. No sleep. Complaint number one. Number two, I didn't go for motion. There are people who don't go for motion. Well, if you don't go for motion, Ramadan, everything is upset. People are concerned about the tummy which is upset, about the sleepless night. And the third thing is people are worried about how to pass time. Allahu Akbar. If Sunday comes in the month of Ramadan, oh, every minute is different. Still 10 o'clock. Oh, 11 o'clock. Looks at the clock, the time does not pass. The time only passes behind the counter when you're in the shop, because it's mapesa. Or the time passes when you are in your office doing something. We are the people who are used to killing time. We don't know how to live time. We always think of how to kill time. We don't know how to live time. We kill time. And this leads many Muslims to, at night, playing carom. And I only hope that Jamaat does not allow these caroms and these things in the month of Ramadan. To these young people who must be trained that Ramadan is not for playing carom. Ramadan is for dua. Ramadan is for remembering Allah. And if we don't train our young people from now, men and women, that this is the month of remembering and not the month of playing, although it may be jais, but this not a month of Ludo and Monopoly. It is a month of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't kill time. These are not the pastimes. The pastime in the month of Ramadan is, there are dua, there are prayers. If nothing can be done, sleep, so that you not indulge in any gunah kabira or any such gunah which may reduce the quality of the fast. Well, if I have trained myself not to backbite in the month of Ramadan, inshallah I will not backbite even after. If I have trained myself of not spreading rumor in the month of Ramadan, I will not do it after. If I have trained myself to keep quiet over things which will otherwise create fasad, then it will not be even after the month of Ramadan. Because for 1 month, if I have drilled myself, there will be a change. But if I have not, if it just came and passed, and it was just an experience of a month, any other month, so there will be a dua, which is read every day nowadays. Every day we are reading it. And it is a very good dua. It is, of course, recommended in the month of Ramadan, but there is no harm in reading it every day. It is being read nowadays every day after Namaz Isha at least. Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. Oh Allah, enter, reach, send, convey pleasure and joy unto the people of the grave. Now what is it? Send television there? What is the joy there? What does Allah send there? What is the joy of a person who is dead? What is the joy of you and I when we will be dead? The joy and the pleasure that you and I will derive when we are in our graves, and those who are already in their graves, is your Fatiha, your Sadaqah, your Salat, whatever you do. If you complete Quran, you say, Ya Allah, the thawab of this be sent to mu'mineen, or to my father, or to my parents, and see the joy. So, while we are praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the idea is to educate us to do things. Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur. Allahumma aghni kulla faqir. Make every poor rich. How? He sends from their checks. It means, Ya Allah, make me one of the agents that I may give to the needy in this month. Allahumma ksu kulla uryan. Allah, give clothes to every naked. He doesn't send. It is for me to send. This is the reason why the dua teaches me indirectly that the life has got to change. And Imam Hussain alayhi salam was asked, why fast? He said, so that those who have had enough, sufficient, over the 12 months may have the feeling of hunger, to be able to realize how a poor man who goes hungry feels. What is the meaning of a pang of hunger? And how to have that pity and mercy over the have-nots and the needy people, you cannot and I cannot understand till we have had that feeling of resolute determination to remain hungry to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, we have got to understand and enjoy the month of Ramadan so that it makes us, and akhlaq changes. There is no other philosophy attached to it except the change and the self-denial and the adoption of akhlaq. I said this, Ghazali has written this, and in Jami al-Sa'ada Iraqi wrote this, and I repeat it just for the sake of understanding that the Prophet was passing and he heard a woman abusing her maid servant, Kaniz, in the month of Ramadan. The Prophet stood and said, is there someone to give some food and water to this lady? And the lady said from within, Ya Rasulullah, this is Ramadan, I am fasting. The Prophet said, what is the meaning of that fast in which you abuse someone? You better have your food. This is one thing. Somebody sat before the Prophet to do the ghibah of Salman Farsi. And the Prophet immediately stopped him and said, stop it. Go and brush your teeth that you have eaten meat, dead meat. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I have eaten no meat today. He didn't understand what the Prophet was telling him. The Prophet said, go and brush your teeth and wash your mouth. You have eaten dead meat. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I have eaten no meat today. He said, you have eaten in my presence. To backbite a person is to speak ill of someone in his absence. Allah in Quran says, أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَن يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. Does any one of you like to eat dead flesh of his brother? We are fasting. We are fasting for fasad, fasting for ghibah, fasting for namami, fasting for pastime by talking of others, fasting for abuses, fasting for quarreling. That is not a fast. Let us see that these things are avoided and we truly fast, become people of God. I promise only one thing, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqoon. Refer to the translation. Fasting has been ordained upon you the way it was ordained upon people before you, so that you may have taqwa. It has not mentioned anything else but for salat. Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Salat prevents you from entering into vices and shamelessness. Taqwa. You are going to Hajj. La rafatha wa la fusuqa wa la jidala fil Hajj. No quarreling, no abusing, nothing in Hajj. For taqwa. Everything is for that. so that I may change. The fasting was ordained for that. So inshallah ta'ala, if all go well, on Wednesday, it will be the first of Ramadan. On Tuesday, people will fast, inshallah ta'ala. People have started fasting already. The month of Sha'ban, for which the Prophet used to say, it is in Salawat of Sha'ban, it is this month, كَانَ يَدْأَبُ فِي صِيَامِهِ وَقِيَامِهِ. Rasulullah was working hard was actually worshipping hard in this month by fasting and by constant prayers. People are fasting already. But on the day that is 29th of Sha'ban, and people have doubt as to whether it is Sha'ban or Ramadan, there is no need to keep fasting with the niyat of doubt. Just fast. If it is Sha'ban, it will go in Sha'ban. If it is Ramadan, it will go in Ramadan. Make a niyyah of any, if you have qadha or any mustahab, and it will go automatically on Tuesday. On Wednesday, inshallah, it will be first. There is no fasting without niyyah. There is no fasting. So make a niyyah, please. Niyyat is an intention. It does not require utterance of the words. But there must be a niyyah that I shall fast in the month of Ramadan, qurbatan ilallah ta'ala, for the sake of Allah. You don't have to know all the masail. Other masail will come automatically. You know not to eat, not to drink. You know that certain things are haram. A booklet will soon come out which I have written, and I have followed the system of Shaheed al-Sadr to talk on fiqh in a direct tone, so that people, as they read in narration, they understand the Messiah. Very soon it will come out. Very easy reference to the month of Ramadan. So you know them in general. There is no need to know all the particulars. But you know how to follow it. Say qurbatan ilallah. For the whole month, one niyyah at the first night is enough. If you want to make every night a niyyah, your wish. But there can be no fasting without niyyah. To say, all right, depends upon my mood. Tomorrow, it depends upon my mood. If I rise with good mood, I'll fast. If the mood is bad, I will not fast. This sort of mood does not count. There's no fasting if there's no niyyah. So please understand this, that we must have qurbatan ilallah ta'ala, and may Allah accept our ibadat in the month of Ramadan and allow us to transform, and may Allah change us from what we are into better souls. And before we die, for one day death must come, the desire is that apart from the physical pleasures and joys and accomplishments that we have, we may at least have some realization about our ruh and about our spiritual existence, which is much higher than mere physical, much more important. And if that is understood, then Deen Islam is understood better. And may Allah grant us that achievement for which we are all striving. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.